Welcome on a Saturday. Welcome to Real Estate with Ryan. Every Saturday we talk about a little real estate, a little football, a little everything here in the studio. So glad to join you. Real Estate with Ryan in the house. And it's Saturday. It's a great weekend to talk a little real estate, talk a little football, what's going on with you guys. So it's a special weekend for me. It's always a big weekend. Well, it's a big weekend for me because my oldest is turning 6. Hard to believe this year that she's going to be 6 years old. We just got back from Florida, spent a little time down at the beach, spent a little one-on-one time, long and deserved, and it seems like it was just overdue that time. Still working, still moving nonstop, but just, I don't know if this year has passed, if you guys have tuned in, and just seen how 2020 has really just moved through and seen that in a blink of an eye, my son was born, 2020, my daughter's going to be 6, and it's like, where is this world coming to? What is going on? Really want to pump the brakes as we're closing out the end of the year, helping a lot of families over here real estate-wise, but special weekend. So happy birthday to my daughter. Shout out on the radio. You're turning 6. You know Daddy loves you. Special times at the Coleman house, so no working on the birthday. I promise you that. So glad you tuned in. If you guys are tuning in for the first time on the radio, my name is Ryan Coleman, owner, founder of Hometown Realty. My lovely co-host, April Coleman, couldn't be here today. She's busy, sends all the love, and we're going to talk a little real estate. You know the Vols are playing. Big day. Seems like Kinsley's birthday is always on Alabama Day. Well, so hopefully we do well this year. It's going to be a tough one. So thank you for tuning in. Today's going to be a good show. We're going to start this show off a little congrats here, doing some movement as we close out the last quarter of the year. So congrats to our seller over on Morrell Road. Record time selling, 12 hours. I think I was talking to my seller today. On the market, off the market, and that went pending pretty quickly. Just sold unit 206 over at Regus. Then we just sold number 306 at Regus. Oh, and then we sold number 410 at Regus. So a lot of movement downtown on the condos. A lot of those are moving. There's limited inventory left, so make sure you guys check out. But we still have plenty. Brand new listing. Listed a 3-bedroom. Not many 3-bedrooms on the market downtown. We just listed 515. I think we're at $950 on that price, list price. Don't hold me to it. It's by memory, guys. 3-bedroom, beautiful side views, all the amenities, covered parking. I think you get 3 deeded spots with that unit, so you definitely want to check that out. You want more information about Regus, any of the properties that we have online, make sure you visit us at ryancoleman.org. We got all the information. We got pictures. We got videos. We got virtual walkthroughs, you name it. And with everything going on with COVID, so if you have some friends or family that are thinking about relocating in the area, go on there, look on my website, and look at the bottom on our walkthrough tours. They're pretty impressive. Gives you a real breakdown without leaving the comfort of your own home of what we have to offer, what the Regus or other properties that we feature have to offer if you're house shopping, because now is the time. Interest rates are insanely low. I got an email yesterday as we finish these congrats, 1.7% they offered to do a refinance. I looked at that, took pause and said, is that for real? I don't really know if it's for real, but I know we were closing, just as of last week, we were doing 2.6 fixed rate 30-year. So I thought that was pretty impressive. Congrats to Mr. Shaw and Con Kennan. Not only do we sell his property, but another lot as well next to it, and a big purchase for him. Excited for November for them. A good friend here putting his property under contract, a lot in Hardin Valley. Covered bridge, went under contract. He was super excited to get the call yesterday that we went under contract and expect that to close quickly. Let's see here. A couple out on Rockwood. We just got a contract on Wheeler Street. Congrats to those guys. East Shore Drive out there in Grand Vista Bay. That went contract and actually closed just last week or so, and super excited for Miss Walker. Ski View Drive actually sold in Gatlinburg. Congrats. Congrats to our great sellers in Walnut Cove. Actually was able to get that cabinet and done. They're going to miss it, but it was time to move on. Super excited for them. Spencer Drive, Dunhill. You can see we're busy, taking a lot of time. Talbot And then, of course, we talked about our property on 611 that went under contract. So as you can see, fall is always our busiest time, it seems like here. Other than spring and summer, it's where we push the hardest. It's where we try to close out strong. Remember, that's what they say in 2020, Nick. It's never how you start. It's always how you finish. So we're pushing strong, trying to help a lot of families in East Tennessee in this crazy world we're talking about. So today we're talking about, well, what's more important as we go down to the end of the year? In any year, right? It always comes down to the pricing. Show me the money. How much, Ryan? Well, it's insanely what the sellers are getting in today's market. It obviously has shifted in the last 18 months, maybe 24 months, a seller's market. I think with the pandemic and everything going on now, more than ever, you're seeing a seller's market because they're restrictive of inventory. Well, that restrictive of inventory makes it very challenging for buyers. So we're talking about today, if you're thinking about selling, why pricing your home to sell is number one. In any market, we tell sellers, whether you're buying or selling, it's going to be one of the two. It's going to be the buyer's market. It's going to be the seller's market. So if we're selling, it comes down to the numbers. If we're buying, it comes down to the numbers. You know, reality, our job is simple. It's putting buyers and sellers together and kind of getting out the way. I mean, that's reality in our job. That's the most important thing, because reality is this is an emotional buy. So I'll take you back to, my wife's not here, but we'll talk about that emotional buy. We made one. And, you know, guys, if you're like me, if you have a spouse and they get involved and they get excited, well, usually the saying is if mama's not happy, then nobody's happy. I just got off the phone with the client, and we understand that. So, but when you walk through that home and you picture the kids in the backyard and you got the swing set and you've got, you know, you can see the place for the patio and you got the fence for the babies and the fur babies. And, you know, it's close to mama's house for, you know, possible help with the grandparents. And then guess what? It has that open concept, and then it has that first floor master. Then they get excited, and emotions sell. And well, emotional buy, that usually means comes down to the price tag. But ultimately, the price has to drive them in there. You know, people in the market, even if we're in a market now, we'll talk about why pricing is so important. But even in a good market where we are, which we've come out of a long market several years ago, if we don't have the right pricing, we can't have those emotional draws, right? You can't have those emotional draws where we get the women excited, or guys, you get excited about the land and the privacy, and you got the detached garage for your workshop, or you got your boat, and you got all these ideas, and you got the super man cave. But if it's not in your budget, if it's not in the range where you even want to have a conversation with everything going on with the pandemic and jobs and the economy, and oh, by the way, in a couple of weeks we have an election, so who knows what's going to happen there, right? Buyers will put that price range on the top of their limit and maybe bump it down a notch or two because there's uncertainty in the marketplace. If there's uncertainty with jobs or pushing that envelope, even though the rates are low, really low, I mean, insanely low, price may be one reason where buyers don't come to your home. So we want to make sure that we have those opportunities and understand those. One of the biggest things that you want to do when setting a price in any market, you want to study recent sales. You want to look at what homes have sold in the last year. The rule of thumb says, hey, if I've sold a property, my comparables are things that have sold within the last, or properties that have sold in the last 12 months. 12 months is a long time in the real estate market here in East Tennessee. So 12 months seems like an eternity. And the reality in today's market, appraisers, lenders, they're looking at the last 90 days. Let me scratch that. They're looking at the last 60 days. What is sold, what is pended, what is active. And that doesn't matter. Price range has no relevance. So whether you're a $200,000 property, or we just listed one today, or actually yesterday at $1.5 million, it's all relevant of what the next sale pended. Because, you know, reality is what your pending is today is more than likely going to be your comparable when you close. So it's important you do your little research on that. Take the time, study your sales. Know that buyers in this market, never the price range, always come down to competitive shopping. They're going to do comparison shopping. School districts are going to come into play. Budget, square footage, location, but ultimately they want to do that price shopping, that comparison shopping before they just buy the first one that they look at. Don't confuse, as we're coming on this break, active listings with pending sales. One of the biggest things we run with our customers is our clients that we look at what Sally or Chris has an active listing in the neighborhood, or over there what they have it listed in one of the home books, or we saw it online. But what's active doesn't mean that the buyers are willing to pay that price. Listen, we're coming on a break. We'll talk more about pricing your home to sell here on the side of this break.
When it comes to the real estate market, turn to the experts that focus on you. With over 20 years experience, Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty knows what it takes. It's the right marketing. It's the right exposure. Ryan and April will use their expertise each step as they guide you through the home buying and selling process. Ultimately, it's about results.
You need someone you can trust that is committed to you.
You have a lot of choices, but the choice is simple. It's Hometown Realty.
Your friend promised we wouldn't be homeless.
He promised. He's doing everything to fix it.
You need to call and have him fix it now.
Hey, ma'am.
Found us a house.
No, not yet. Let me call you back. We're working on it.
Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty.
He says he's doing the best he can do, honey.
Well, he's taken too long. I knew we should have gone with Ryan Coleman.
Choosing the right agent is never easy.
Call your hometown experts. We'll take care of all the details and make sure you don't get stuck in a motel. All right, we're back from the break. I was stumbling, bumbling into the break, and I said, Nick, hopefully it's not perfect over here. Real estate with Ryan, it's just, I got so much in my head, so much energy, and there's no notes. I'm not reading off a teleprompter. I got it all in here. Sometimes it gets a little convoluted. Hey, listen, if you guys are tuning in for the first time, we're talking about pricing today, but if you're thinking about the market as we close out the year and this uncertainty, not knowing where we're going, and you're looking for a good team to help you through the process, if you're buying, if you're selling, if you're doing that 1031 and you need that expert advice, I know some guys in town. I ain't gonna mention any names, but I think we could probably help you. Proud sponsor of the Vols, been doing it over 20 years in the business. I got a strong team over here from marketing, from customer service, from accounting, from the legal aspect. We've got you covered from where you need to start to finish. It's a daunting process, right? You need somebody you can trust. You need a team that cares. It's not just a transaction over here. As I always say, my good friend Opie Joe, we want to make you part of the family because it's a big move. And we want to be there for you, not just today, next 5 or 10 years. We talk about my daughter's birthday. Obviously I got in real estate and I get on my rants. It's okay. It's my Ryan rant. So I got on my rant. And when we opened Hometown Realty years ago, we were with the big franchises and the big companies. And it was fine, building their brand, building their name. And my wife said something that was very important. She said, you can either build your brand or you can build somebody else's brand. So you business owners out there, guess what? My wife is smart. I built my brand. We built our team. And the difference is, so when my daughter or my son decides to maybe sell real estate or not, it's that opportunity that we built something that our kids, your kids, we may helping you guys sell homes now. We may be selling to your kids in 10, 20, 30 years. We'd love to be around for the process. So we want to take care of you and give you that first-class experience. Now, real estate's never easy. There's hurdles. There's a lot of personalities involved. So that's why you need experience. You need somebody to walk you through that process and calm you down. And then ultimately, once you get moved in, which is the hard part, you can enjoy that forever home, and we'd like to be part of that process. So we're talking about a little bit about pricing. We're talking about numbers and why looking at comparables were important, but not just comparables, actives. Don't look at your neighbor's home because your neighbor's home that's listed at $450 hasn't sold is not how you want to price your property. So keep that in mind when you're looking for properties on the market. And then also understanding that just because it's listed doesn't mean it will sell. You have to think like a buyer. Understand that when a buyer looks for the home, ideally we're different in seller mode. What is the first thing, guys, that buyers look for? You know it. In every deal, no matter the market, no matter how much money you have or how much little money you have, every buyer wants a what? You know it. We all want a deal. We want the best deal. And as we're coming up on Black Friday, before you know it, all the deals come out. This is like deal season. Unfortunately, it seems like that the deals are few and far between. So keep in mind that the buyers think that same way. And in order to attract your property to the most amount of people, know that buyers are shopping that price range and keep it in a range that will have more conversations. Make decisions quickly, my friend. Understand in the process of whether you're buying or selling that the most activity comes very, very early on as a seller. Understand that when you list a property, I have a chart here. I was looking at it, and we talk a little bit more about pricing and the impact of the visibility of pricing. So just for example, when you list a property at market value, 60% of the time, that's 60% of the time, your visibility and your sell ratio is going to hit the numbers. You actually go down 10% if you overprice it, 15%, and the visibility goes on down. So the impact, and listen, we're all agents. We all have this conversation. I was chatting with a client we listed yesterday. It was in the higher end. And he said, Ryan, we're all tempted in this seller's market to list the property at a price that would have a conversation. But if I can list it and get the property and maybe make another 100,000 or 50,000, why not? You're very tempted to do that. Understand that the most activity, though, by not overpricing the property, you lose a large amount of the buyers in the first 60 days. And reverse in this market that's very fast-paced, what's the first thing that the buyer does when you've been on the market for a little while and haven't sold? So then the advantage goes more to the buyer, because the buyer wants to come to you and say, Mr. Seller, you've been in the market several months in this market. You haven't sold. It's a beautiful property. I wonder why. Well, most of the time, it comes down to the agent you choose, the marketing, and the pricing has a lot of involvement in that. So then you get offers that maybe are not where you want to be full list price, if that makes sense. They're not full list price. You get frustrated and you get into that. So overpricing the property can not only lose you money, but could lose buyers in a short period of time. We have to understand, guys, that November and December, we've got 2 weeks of November, 2 weeks of December, where there's holidays. We're running down to limited time that are available on the market. I've got these 10 quick tips. So we got about 4 minutes and some change to kind of go through them. And we're talking about why you want to curb your emotions on the pricing. And that kind of relates to kind of what I was talking about, that just because you want to get an extra amount, or that agent that you're interviewing wants you to kind of price it and say, well, there's no inventory, there's nothing out here. True, we're limited inventory, but there's plenty of sales that have happened. So let's set the realistic expectation. Agents, clients, let's shoot straight up front. Let's be straight, because I'd rather shoot straight with you than disappoint you in the end, if that makes sense. So, it's great to hear we get more money, and we can always push the envelope, and I think we need to do that. But don't push it so high that we lose competition. We lose that multiple offer approach. We did this right in Sevierville, and Nick can contest to it. We listed it right. We didn't overprice it. I got 21 offers on this property. Got super excited. I got 71,000, 75,000 above price. We got rid of inspections. We got rid of appraisals, and we didn't have to do anything. I think we got some insane amount that above the price that we even had the letter for the coverage of the difference. So if the appraisal didn't appraise, which we didn't think it was going to, well, guess what? The buyer is going to pay the difference. So that's what happens when we price it. We can get into a bidding war and we can have a conversation. So keep that in mind. Number 2, have your home in tip-top shape. You can do the best you can. You're tempted to want to show it on the market, put it on there, especially if you're behind with everything going on with COVID and pushing us behind this year. But try to have that presentation. You got one shot. When you walk in the door, it's showtime. And the buyer is going to make a quick decision whether this home meets what they're looking for, or they're going to continue to do comparison shopping. As a seller, you want to make sure, number one, you want to get with a great agent that's going to help you and walk you from start to finish, but do you some work on your own. Look at active properties that are on the market. They are your competition. They are exactly what buyers and sellers in the marketplace, and I say sellers because they're selling and buying. They're going to be in the marketplace as well. They're going to be looking at those homes just like they look at yours. You need to do the comparison shop. Put yourself in the buyer's perspective. Number 4, get a CMA from a local realtor. Get 1 or 2. We always encourage you, get a couple comparison estimates. Get what an agent will do for you that has a great marketing strategy and give some numbers on the marketplace. Number 5, make sure you get with a great agent, heart-to-heart conversation, somebody that you can trust that can walk you from start to finish. No fluff, somebody at the end of the day that you can pick up the phone on the weekend, on the evening, and make sure they can get you with what you need. Do your own comparisons, find your own sales. If you have a hard property that's very hard to comparable, get an appraisal before you list it so we don't run into any issues at the very, very end. Guess what? Have some friends over. Entertain. Bring them over to a little open house. Get their feedback. These are your friends. These are family. Get an unbiased opinion or maybe biased opinion. What should we do? There are going to be a lot of questions, a lot of answers, but you'll get a good gauge other than just yourself or your kids and family. If you get some agents through the property, take their feedback. Take some constructive feedback because these are experts in the marketplace. They deal with buyers and sellers all the time. So you want to make sure you're getting their feedback and understand what's going on. And last thing is, you've seen this a while, and you'll see it as Black Friday. Try to end it in your list price with a little bit different than 0. Don't end in 0. $999, we're getting a better deal. It's $499, $950, or $999. We like that. I don't know, just something about under $500 makes a difference. Hope you've enjoyed the show. Always goes quicker than we expect. If you ever need me or my team, it's Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty. The phone number is easy, 693-SOLD or ryancoleman.org. We love the Vols, proud sponsors of the Vols, and we'll see you here next weekend.